Hi, this is Matt Greiner from August Burns Red, and you're listening to For Those About to Rock on Radio AGORA 105.5.
Okay, hey, and welcome to For Those About to Rock. My name is Gilbert, and I'm here with Matt from August Burns Red. How are you doing, Matt?
Doing well. Thank you, Gilbert.
Awesome. Okay, so how's the tour been so far? You played around a third of the shows already?
Yeah, has it been a third? That's good. The countdown. We've been busy. Yeah, it's been a good tour so far. We're with good bands, and that's what really matters out here. It's easy to do a tour like this when you like the music of the other bands because you're looking forward to the show. The 45 minutes we spend on stage every day is the best part of the day. The shows have been great. Last night in Italy, that was a chart topper for me. We played for about 1,100 people in Milano, and it was incredible. As soon as I walked out and sat down, you could just hear the crowd chanting and screaming, and we played the whole show, and then we actually tacked on a song at the end just because we had 3 minutes time, and we played an extra song for the crowd, and after we were done, I held up my phone and I took a little video of the crowd chanting, "One more song." And I sent it to my girlfriend. I said, "This is Italy, believe it or not. It looks more like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where we're from."
Awesome. So what was your extra encore song?
We played Backburner.
Oh, nice.
Old school song, you know. That song has a couple breakdowns in it that the crowd can be enthusiastic
Completely
and
go insane.
yeah, they can go nuts for. So.
Okay, cool. So what was the coolest thing that happened to you so far this tour? Anything special or anything awesome?
Yeah, a couple things actually. One thing I'll mention is this: I teach like a 1-hour drum lesson pretty much every day. I have students that come out, and they're all different. Some of them are very advanced. Others are pretty amateur. Anyway, today a kid came, and I won't mention his name, but he was the coolest kid. He's somewhere in the middle. You know, you can tell he's been playing for a little while, but he has a lot of room to grow, and he's excited about that. And he's from Vienna. So he drove 2 hours with his dad. He's 16. And he had a piece of paper, and I had a list of questions on it. Yeah. So I said, what do you have on the paper? He said, "Oh, well, I need to write out my questions. Otherwise, I'm so excited right now, I would just forget everything." And I said, "Well, your English is really good." He said, "Thank you." So then he had the piece of paper laying there. I flipped it over to see what was on the other side. And on the other side, he had all of these prompts that he could say, such as, "Sorry, my English is not very good," or "I am speechless right now. I'm sorry," or expressions like that. And I thought that was the coolest thing. He put all this work into this lesson. Maybe more work than I put into it, and a lot of the lesson was just him getting to meet someone from America who speaks English and plays drums and he looks up to, and that was incredible because it's neat for me to see people that care so much about an interaction, about a 1-hour meeting, and that made a big impact over. So I'd say that was probably one of the coolest things that's happened on this tour.
That's really awesome, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So after the tour, what's next for you guys? What can the fans expect?
Yeah, we're busy this year. We weren't so busy earlier this year because we released a new record. It's called Found in Faraway Places, and now it's time to support it. So we're here in Europe until pretty much the end of October. October 29th, we fly home, and then we're home for 2 days. Then we fly to Australia. We're touring there with the band Northlane. For 2 weeks. Then we come home. We're home for about 10 days, and then we go out for a month with Every Time I Die in the States.
Oh, that's really awesome. So, yeah, you guys released Found in Faraway Places a few months ago, and maybe you can talk a little about the story behind the album, and like how it was created and what this album means to you guys.
Yep. Sure. Found in Faraway Places is a title which was not always the CD title. I wrote a song called Found in Faraway Places. We were going over all the song titles, and we were looking for a CD title. Yeah. And I said, "Well, what about Found in Faraway Places?" And everyone said, "Yeah, I think I like that." So after a few days, we locked it in. Well, then I changed that name of the song, which was originally Found in Faraway Places, to Majoring in the Minors. Okay. So that's the song we're actually playing today. But the song is about a speech impediment that I used to have.
Okay.
I used to stutter, and I couldn't get through sentences. I couldn't articulate my thoughts. It was really frustrating and really humiliating. And I would just feel so stupid, trying to speak, and I'd get stuck on a vowel or a letter or a word. So oftentimes I would kind of, in a way, run away for an hour or two. And I live on a farm. Yep. Okay. So as a kid, we had all this acreage, 140 acres of farmland. And at the back of the farmland is a patch of woods. And I used to go back there, and there's a little stream there, and it's just a place of solitude. You get away from everything and everyone. Mm-hmm. It's perfect. So I'd go back there, say a prayer, kind of get my bearings, come back. And I wrote the song Majoring in the Minors about not stressing the small stuff that seems like such a big deal in the moment. And that's exactly what it was. And in the midst of that situation, me stuttering for probably 10 years, it was a long time. I thought it was the biggest thing in the world, and I thought when I got past it, I'd never have to go through anything tough again. Yeah. Like, okay, as soon as I get past this, I'm fine. Like, life can't be that bad, right? Yeah. Can't be that cruel. As you know, as anyone knows, life's full of problems. Yeah. And so as soon as I got past that, of course, there's something else. So the CD title, Found in Faraway Places, is my personal take on it, is that don't always look at your circumstance as being a bad circumstance. Even though it might not be comfortable, even though it might humiliate you, embarrass you, feel like you're being set back, it might not always, be the case. And it's usually easier to see after the fact that it benefited you. So people that are struggling, they seem like they're far away from home, they seem like they're kind of lost, don't worry, don't give up. Yeah. They're going to be fine. People that are close to home, maybe they're not as close to home as you think. Yeah. So Found in Faraway Places has a lot of implications, but I'd say those are the ones for me.
Wow, that's really nice. It's a really cool story. And so you have, the whole album is, in my opinion, really creative, and there are a lot of different musical aspects of it, especially songs like Separating the Seas and Majoring in the Minors and Identity. You have those traditional music styles in there. Where did you get those from, or why did you use those in there?
Yeah. Well, the best person to answer that question is probably JB, who's the main songwriter. But I think I can shed a little light on it. August Burns Red has been a band a long time. We know what we have done in the past. Yeah. And we know what we're capable of, I would say. Yeah. And in light of those two things, we know what we've done and we know what we're able to do. I think we just go into writing a new song like it's like anything's possible. Yeah. We don't have to do anything that people say we have to do, or we don't have to fit inside this box that metalcore says, okay, here's the sound, that you should adhere to. I think JB and I think the rest of us say, hey, let's create great music. And if this part fits the song and it complements it and it sets it apart, let's do it. I don't care what instruments we have to use in the studio. I don't care how long it takes to practice the part and get it down. I don't care. I don't even care if people don't like it to a certain extent. Yeah. And I think you have to go into each song and each CD with that kind of, I'd use the word courage, I think. Yeah, because you're willing to I think you're willing to do what you think is the right thing to do for the song and for the music versus what other people say you probably should do, or live in fear of what they might not like. Yeah. So there's a lot of diversity, and I think we've been experimenting with that for a couple CDs now. Obviously, it's most evident on this one. Yeah.
Wow, really cool. Yeah, in my opinion, Rescue and Restore was also really creative, and there are a lot of different. If you compare Constellations and Leveler to Rescue and Restore, it was a kind of a new step for you guys. A really cool album, by the way, both of them.
Thank you.
And all your albums, but. So on Rescue and Restore, you started using a lot of different instruments. JB played a guzheng, and then you had strings and a trumpet and everything on there. So Is there anything you guys want to like maybe consider for your next album? Anything you want to play with? You're thinking about already?
Yeah, I'm always kind of thinking. I'd like to do something with a marching band.
Okay.
I've never said that before, so that's just something that's going on up here. But I think it'd be cool. The first time I heard something like this sound I have in my head was Slipknot, where they had a marching snare, I think, and it was this loud, like 16th note, like very simple pattern over top of a breakdown, you know, and it sounded so cool. I think it would be cool to go record, take the interface, Pro Tools, and go to a marching band and say, here's a part, write something to it, and have them, you know, record it in a gymnasium or something, and then put that on top of a breakdown or a build-up or something like that. So maybe keep your ears peeled for that. But
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you think so. So maybe we'll do it.
Okay. For all the fans at home, next August Burns Red album's going to be Marching Band Core or something like that.
Marching Band Core. There it is. Yeah, no, marching band drumming will make an appearance on the new August Burns Red record.
Okay, cool. That's a promise, by the way. It's definitely happening.
That's a promise and a prophecy.
Okay. So you were talking about like the whole metalcore box and trying to move outside of it. A lot of people kind of have the feeling that metalcore's changing a lot recently. So a lot of bands are trying out new things, maybe becoming more melodic and everything. What's your take on that? Where do you think, or in which direction is metalcore going to be going in the next few years, or where would you guys like to go?
That's a good question. I don't think that anyone knows the answer to it, but I think metalcore is, it's almost like religion, I think. Well, now hear me out here, but religion, okay, let's say Christianity, it starts as one very simple idea, and then after thousands of years or 2,000 years, it gets split into so many different denominations. And they all have their own nuance, but they all basically have the same core, right? But everyone identifies with different parts of Christianity, maybe, if they consider themselves a Christian. But they would say, well, I'm this denomination, or I'm this denomination. And those two seem like big differences, but they're not. I think it's maybe the same thing with metal, in that, maybe it started in the 70s or 80s with a certain sound, and then it just continually evolved over the years. And I think metalcore might just be a sound inside a bigger sound. It's just a denomination of a much bigger genre, which is just rock or, grunge or whatever. I mean, they're all different. They're all different in their nuances. They all have different nuances, but they all have the same core. So all that to say, metalcore will be continually changing and evolving. More singing, less singing, more electronic, less electronic, more breakdowns, less breakdowns, faster, slower, noisier, cleaner. I mean, who knows? It seems like there are certain trends that come in and go out. But as far as August Burns Red, I like that we have technical parts that are off time and fast and really hard to play. And then we have parts that aren't hard to play. And they're simple and they're straightforward and they're easy to listen to. And maybe there's more melody in the vocals. Maybe there's more melody in the guitars. Maybe we're playing a completely different genre for almost an entire song. I think anything's possible. Okay. And I'd like to see more of those creative, like you said, kind of traditional parts happen in our band.
Yeah, I really like those. What was it like? Majoring the minors, like this, Western Mexican kind of guitar playing. That's really cool.
Boom, boom. Yeah. That's like one of my favorite parts of the show. That song is my favorite to play.
Yeah, I saw you play the playthrough on YouTube, playing that song. Man, you looked like you had so much fun playing that part.
It is very fun.
Yeah, you look very happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys have been around the whole music business a long time, for a longer time than most bands that are currently on tour right now. So when you guys started, there was no YouTube, no Spotify and stuff like that. All the music you had was from CD sales and stuff like that. So that's been a big change in the whole music business with all YouTube and all the digital music. So how's that been for you guys? And do you think it'll somehow have an effect on the future of music, or generally younger bands, because it's kind of more difficult for them to, get their foot out there? or is it even easier for them to get their foot out there?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I think it's both, actually, because it used to be the case that there were few bands on the internet that were, promoting themselves because it just wasn't that easy to get music up there and out there. Now it's so easy that it's oversaturated. Yeah. So if a band gives me a link to their demo, it's not as significant as it was 8 years ago, 10 years ago, when I got an email about a link. Oh my gosh, these guys went to a lot of work to get this up here. So the value of your music has gone down because it's become easier to create music and put it up online. On the other hand, if you're good at what you do and you're working hard, your music is going to find a speaker. It's going to find a voice, it's going to find an ear somewhere. Yeah. And it's pretty easy to get it out there and get yourself promoted. I think it's forced more creativity into how you promote your record and your songs and your band. It's definitely created a different flow, I think, for how your work is done. A lot of people just work from home. They create their music in their home, they record their music, and then they just spend all day promoting on their computers. Yeah. Whereas that was not always the case. 10 years ago, it was like get in the van and go tour. Go play shows even if they stink. And I think that will always kind of be the case. You're going to have to get out there and play in front of people. You can't just put videos online and expect to stay relevant. But it's definitely a factor. And as a band that's been a band a long time like us, we have to constantly be aware of what's relevant and what is popular and what kids are looking at, because it's very easy to forget what kids are looking at, what kids think is important. And I think a lot of the younger bands are better at that because they're just younger people, and they're more in tune with what social media says is great and not great, and so on and so forth.
Okay, cool. So we have a few questions we got from our listeners to ask the band.
Okay.
So what do you guys, or what's on your iPod at the moment? What are you listening to?
That's a good question. Currently, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and my favorite teacher is a pastor named Timothy Keller. Okay. He wrote a book called The Reason for God. He's very, very smart, and he's a very good speaker, and he's a very good guy. So anyway, he has podcasts online. I've been listening to his podcasts through his church. It's called Redeemer. Okay, out in New York City. I have Brad Paisley on my iPod, which is country. I have the Killers. Okay, cool. I love the Killers. Yeah. I have Coldplay. Cool. And I have Bon Iver. I've been listening to Bon Iver again, actually. Okay, cool. I really like his records, especially the self-titled. Yeah. So, yeah. A little bit of music, a little bit of speaking. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so on your last album, Found in Faraway Places, what I found really cool is you guys had Jeremy McKinnon from A Day to Remember. So who would you guys like to work with in the future? Is anybody out there?
That's a good question. Boy. Me personally, the singer for Thrice. Okay. His name's Dustin Kensrow. He's got a very good voice. Okay. Singing voice. Drummer-wise, I would love to have Blake Richardson from Between the Buried and Me maybe play a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, he's very good.
He's insane.
Yeah. That's probably about it.
Okay, cool. So, and a lot of our listeners are young musicians themselves. So, do you guys have any tips for, generally how to get somewhere as a band? Any tips for young musicians? And maybe, how do I go on tour with Asking Alexander and August Burns Red and Memphis May Fire?
Just ask nicely. I think that your success, it's okay for your success as a band to happen slowly. So slowly, in fact, that you don't even notice it. So if you don't feel like you're growing, don't worry. Just keep working. And if you feel like you are growing, don't take it for granted, and maybe try to look at your foundation and see, do we have that amount of fans? Yeah. Is our music really that good? Are we on tour enough? Are we picking the right tours? From the very bottom, play your instrument well, practice hard, find a good group of guys to play with, and work hard on your music. Spend a lot of money on one song versus the same amount of money on 10. We don't need to hear 10 songs to know if you're a good band. Just one song will do. In fact, probably 30 seconds. Make connections. Be nice to people. Don't burn bridges. Try to help out the people that are on your level or even lower than you. Try not to take advantage of people or circumstances. Try to really, invest yourself and your work into what you do.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the awesome advice, Matt. Thank you so much for the interview, and have a great remaining tour.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.